When you gonna start training them dogs?
I don't know. You reckon they're old enough to start training?
Yeah, what I heard, the younger the better.
Okay, we'll start tomorrow.
With the help of my oldest sister, we started giving my pups their first lessons. She'd hold their collars while I made trails with the hide for them to follow. I'd climb trees that leaned over the river, jump out into the water, swim to the other side, and make trails up and down the bank. With a long pole and wire, I'd drag the hide on top of rail fences, swing it through the air, and let it touch the ground 20 or 30 feet away. I did everything with the hide a coon would do and a lot of things a coon couldn't do. It was a beautiful sight to see my pups work those fields. At first they were awkward, they didn't know what to do, but they'd never quit trying. Old Dan would get so eager and excited he'd overrun a trail. Where it twisted or turned, he would run straight on, balling up a storm. It didn't take long for him to realize that a smart old coon didn't always run in a straight line. Little Ann never overran a trail. She'd wiggle and twist, cry and whine, and pretty soon she'd figure it out. I taught my dogs every trick I knew and any new ones I heard about. I taught them how to split up on a riverbank to search for the hidden trail because it was impossible to tell where a coon would come out of the water. Sometimes he might swim downstream and other times he might swim upstream. Maybe he would come across the bank where he'd left, or he would cross over to the other side. Perhaps he would stop in the middle of the stream or on an old drift. Sometimes he would come out of the water by catching the dangling limbs of a leaning birch and climbing up, never touching the bank. Or he would come out of the same trail he used to go in and backtrack. He would sometimes crawl up underneath an undermined bank and sometimes into an old muskrat den. All through that summer and into the late fall, the training went on. Although I was worn down to a frazzle, I was a happy boy. I figured I was ready for the ringtails. Late one evening, tired and exhausted, I sat down by a large sycamore and called my dogs to me. It's all over, I said. There'll be no more lessons. I've worked hard and I've done my best. From now on, it's all up to you. Hunting season's just a few days away, and I'm going to let you rest, for I want you to be in good shape the night it opens. It was wonderful indeed how I could have heart-to-heart talks with my dogs, and they always seemed to answer. And each question I asked was answered in their own doggish way. Although they didn't talk in my terms, they had a language of their own that was easy to understand. Sometimes I would see it in the answer in their eyes, and then again it would be the friendly wagging of their tails. Other times I'd hear the answer in a low whine or feel it in the soft caress of a warm flicking tongue. In some way, they would always answer.